Hey everyone, and welcome to Mediocre Gamers, where we discuss all things gaming. I'm Crimson, and I'm joined by my co-host Caleb.
Greetings, mortals.
How's it going, man? It's been a week.
It has been a week. I'm glad to be home and away from people for at least a couple of days now. How about you?
The goal is to never leave the house if you can.
Never leave the cul-de-sac. Never
That's
leave the
right.
cul-de-sac. Now you did have a L5R tournament today, didn't you?
I did. I technically maybe got second. I think I did based off of strength of schedule,
Mm-hmm.
but because second place gets nothing, they didn't really tell us. But I went 2-1. My only loss was from the guy who won, no buys, and I played stronger players. So, yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to definitely say I got second.
Yeah, I would say with strength of schedule being a thing, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But that last match I played was really good. Really hard match against a
What
unicorn player.
unicorn? Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
unicorns gotten quite a bit better. Um, they're more tricky than they used to be.
Okay, that seems like that's what they needed.
Yes, yes, they feel solid.
Now they are the like duelist ones, right?
No, they're the cavalry.
Cavalry. Nah, okay,
They're
I gotcha.
all
I
about
gotcha.
moving in and out of combat.
Gotcha.
But besides that, I have been playing one game. Well, actually, I've been playing a couple,
Mm-hmm.
but one game majorly, and that is Kingdom Come Divergence.
Deliverance.
Deliverance, whatever.
Just always think dueling banjos. It's
Ah,
it's it's Kingdom Come dueling banjos edition.
there you go.
Um,
I got to put in some crimsonese.
yep, there you go.
Ah, okay.
So what we talked about this game last week.
We did.
I have not had a chance to get my hands on it yet. I hopefully will here pretty soon. But I'm glad that you got your hands on it so we could talk about it. What is this game? What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit out of order versus our show
Yeah,
notes.
that's
I'm gonna
that's
talk
fine.
about the graphics first.
Okay.
This game is beautiful.
Hmm.
Like just every little detail. You walk through a forest and you feel like you're walking through a forest. I would love this game in VR. I mean, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And it is first person only, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Unless you're in dialogue conversation, then you see your
Yeah,
character.
correct.
It's just beautiful graphics. I cannot recommend these graphics. They're just amazing.
Now, with that high resolution graphics and just how beautiful it is, are you having any trouble running it?
No, I'm running it on medium,
Okay.
so I can't even imagine what like ultra would look like. But
Your eyes would probably bleed.
probably my monitor probably couldn't handle it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm just running it on the medium because I want no lag issues. That's the big
Hmm.
point.
Yep.
But yeah, runs great on my computer. My computer's not that great.
Hmm.
It runs solid, and the graphics are wonderful.
Nice.
Bugs and glitches.
Yeah, have
I
you been running into any of those? Because I've been hearing that's one of the only real complaints that people have been having lately is that the bugs and glitches have been taking them out of the immersion.
I have not been running it into any bugs or glitches
Damn.
at all. Everything has been pretty solid on that end.
And for a game that just came out, that's pretty huge. Now, you did say, though, earlier today that they did have a massive day one patch.
Yes, there was a very large day one patch.
So hopefully that stuff got fixed.
Yeah,
Although, for everything to have gotten fixed within the first week, that is unheard of. So if that is the case, then this may be the greatest gaming developer ever.
Or most likely what it is that bugs and glitches people are running into are specific based off of hardwares.
It could be.
That's the thing with PC, is there's so many different hardwares. How can you really make it so where your game plays well on every device ever created?
I don't know. Let's ask Bethesda and their 90th copy of Skyrim. I heard that Skyrim is coming to toasters here pretty soon.
It's going to be on your Samsung refrigerator.
Yup. My lamp will be able to play Skyrim here in a minute.
Yup. Diablo 3's coming to the Switch, most likely.
I feel like that I would get that.
Yeah.
Like, having portable Diablo. Yeah.
Mobile Diablo sounds wonderful.
And I actually heard, and this is... the person who said this has gotten quite a bit of flack for it from the diehard purist Diablo fans, but a lot of people that I have talked to who have played it on console liked it better than playing it on PC. It is a different game, but apparently the interface is a lot cleaner because the console one came out after Reaper of Souls was already released. So when
Diablo 3, the original, is also on consoles before Reaper.
Really? Because everywhere that I looked, it always said includes Reaper of Souls.
Yep, and what you're seeing is when Reaper was released, pretty much they stopped producing the Diablo 3 base game.
And they just bundled it.
Yeah, they decided to create Reaper as like a Game of the Year version.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. But apparently they really tweaked the interface, the UI, everything like that. But also the controls are just really solid.
Yeah,
for the console.
Looks
and I'm
good.
like, yeah, and I'm like, really? And I watched some gameplay on it, and I'm like, damn, I kind of want to play Diablo again, but I want a controller.
I wonder if you could just plug in a controller and it'll recognize that.
Maybe? I don't know. I've got a PS4 controller, so I may have to mess with that.
Yeah, maybe they got a setting where you can change it to controller.
Yeah, it's not EA, so they should.
Who knows?
But that is good that you're not running into a lot of bugs and glitches, and that the game runs smoothly on your machine. That is an older machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's
now
just not got the latest 1070, 500 Ultra, 1250 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you don't have you're not running two 1080 Titans.
No. Jesus Christ.
Who fucking needs that? Anyway, we're not diving down that rabbit hole. That's a whole nother episode of us just ranting about elitist people. But anyway,
there was one moment in the game where it just all clicked for me.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about a very specific side quest. There's no spoilers for the main game, but if you guys don't want to hear it, here's your spoiler warning right now.
Spoilers.
So, I was going to the executioner's farm to go punch some dogs, which I'm sure Caleb will have a fun time with that in a little bit. It's a video game. It's okay. But I was going there.
Doesn't make you any less of a cunt.
I was going there to punch some dogs, and
if you wake up one morning and your tires are slashed, just think nothing of it. It's completely unrelated.
Totally. And
so
there was this lady sitting on a bench just bawling. So I'm like,
probably because you were punching dogs like a cunt.
So I talked to her, and she's like, "Oh, just leave me alone, boo hoo hoo hoo." And
she doesn't want to talk to an animal abuser.
I'm not a voice actor, so bear with it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go talk to the executioner. So I go talk to the executioner. He literally sends me on this quest to go find her family, because she has no living relatives, and he just killed her husband, legally, of course, legally killed her husband, and she has no family, so maybe her deceased husband might have some family that she can live with. Unfortunately, nobody wants to go near the executioner, so he can't go find out. Executioners at that time were pariahs, pretty much. They got a good pay, but at the same point, nobody wanted to talk to them, go near them. There was a stigma attached to that.
Yeah, they were social outcasts.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, who the hell do I go talk to? So I go back and I talk to her, and she mentioned something about the bailiff, which is like the constable, the chief of police, and if his family was as shitty as he was, maybe the bailiff would know information. So now the executioner is outside of the main town, so I run back to the main town. I talk to the bailiff. The bailiff doesn't have time for me, pretty much. Tells me to go talk to the scribe. I go talk to the scribe. The scribe's like, oh, my knees, I'm so old and crusty. And I'm like, do you need some stuff for your knees? Oh, that would be great, my son. My knees. What
This
the
is
fuck
not,
ever.
and this is not a accurate representation of the voice acting of the game. Please do not be turned off of the game because of his reenactment.
This is a dramatized reenactment. So I go to the apothecary. I get the ointment. I come back to him. He's like, oh, thank you. Awesome. Yes, let me look in my books. So we dig up some information. I find out that his parents live outside of town by the fishing hole, or fishing pond. So I get on my horse. I run all the way over there. Go to talk to the old man, and he's like, leave me alone, young person. Blah. I'm like,
Fucking millennials.
I'm like, holy shit. So I go talk to the old lady, and she's like, fuck you too. I'm like, your daughter-in-law needs a family, needs to be, can she come here and live with you guys? You're the only family she has. And they're like, oh, I don't need another mouth to feed. And I'm like, oh, God, you guys are evil. And I punch dogs.
All right, Michael Vick. What happened next?
So
I also like that you're playing a paladin in this, like a quote-unquote paladin. And it's like, yeah, I'm totally a paladin, and I'm fighting for the innocent, except I punch animals, and I'm a total fucking shitbag. But also...
So, I'm like, well, she can help around the farm. She's a hardy woman, she lives in this day and age, and she won't be a burden. And they're like, no, thank you. Fuck off. I'm like, here's some gold, bitch. Like, give her a bunch of gold
in their face.
Yeah, I'm like, here, take her in, goddammit. They're like, okay, we will, but if she gets out of line, she's gonna get a stick into the back. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Dude, Dark Ages sucked.
Yep.
So I go back to her, and I talk to the executioner. The executioner's like, well, it's her choice if she wants to go and live there. And I'm like, whatever. So I go talk to her. She's like, oh, I have a family. And I'm like, yeah, they're a piece of shit. Don't do it.
I would use that term loosely. Like, family is...
No shit. So I go talk to the executioner, and he tells me that he's always had a thing for this lady. He remembers when they were teenagers and stuff. And that she would even talk to him, even though, his parents were, his dad was an executioner, so the stigma even persists to the children and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? So you like her, she has nowhere to go other than to these evil people. So I go back and talk to her, and I'm like, look, the executioner loves you. Fuck those other people. Stay here with the executioner. And she's like, you're right. And then there's this cut scene of like the executioner and her meeting up, And like, yeah, Love Maker Crimson. But that's just one 25-minute side quest in this game. And this game is full of them.
And this is also kind of goes into our other segment that we're going to talk about anyways, if choices matter. You
Very
can
much.
let her go to her family.
You can.
Quote-unquote family. Or you can try to play matchmaker like you did.
Yeah.
And now here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kill her family?
You can kill anybody in the game.
That's what I'm doing. I wouldn't have even thrown the gold at him. I'd have just been like, well...
And the worst part is, I still lost that gold.
Oh, son of a bitch. I bet if you go kill them, you'll get it back.
You would, because it's stored in the character's inventory.
There you go. See? Side quest number 2.
Go pickpocket.
Off to reclaim my gold. Go steal their fucking boots and shit, too. They're awful people.
Go punch them.
Seriously, why are you punching innocent animals like a shitbag? You have 2 perfectly good targets and they're both old.
I'm sorry, but the guards don't come when you punch animals, only people.
Hey, kind of like in real life.
Kind of. Oh, now, choices do matter in this game, but I do want to touch on one subject that has been going around on the internet.
Okay.
And this is a touchy subject.
Uh-oh.
The fact that people are calling out the developers of this game as racist and anti-women.
What?
Fuck that, dude. Okay, you're making a game that is set in a historical period when women had no rights.
Yeah, where women and people of color were being oppressed.
Right.
You can't make it happy-go-lucky Christmas Town.
No, you can't.
And have it historically accurate. That's... see, I have to call bullshit on that because, again, the game is marketed... It was created and marketed as a historical RPG, which means that it has a high emphasis on realism, which it does. So this sort of thing came with the territory. And
still does in a lot of places in this world.
It still does. It still does. But the fact that people are getting up in arms about that, that drives me more nuts than anything, because it's kind of like when you crack open I think it was a 5th grader's school book, and under how the settlers came to settle America, it said that the natives gave up their land for the newcomers. That's factually wrong.
Oh, they gave up their land.
Yeah, over their dead fucking bodies. And that's the thing that pisses me off, is that people sit there and they go, well, I don't want to see the realism of history. Then fuck you.
Because I don't want to know
history
how my
doesn't
food
change.
is made.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't handle it, you're part of the problem.
Yep. And now, I don't know if there's any other information outside of that. I'm not privy to. But this is just what I've been seeing. And I definitely want to call bullshit on that, too.
Yeah.
It's a good game. People should go buy it. Definitely.
It's a good game. It's made by an indie developer. It is their first game, and it's the evolution of Skyrim, basically. But what really irritates me is that people are attacking it for being exactly what it was supposed to be and what it was created for and marketed as, which is a historical RPG.
Correct.
Yes, dark shit happens. Bad, terrible things happen that you don't want to happen and don't want to see and don't want to deal with. Guess what?
Shit happens.
That fucking happened.
Yeah, that was real life back then.
Yep. And
you can't sweep it under the rug.
No.
Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, considering very little has changed.
Very little. But yeah, definitely pick the game up if you're interested. It is well worth every penny you spend on it. Just great fun game. There are mods out already, so if you don't like the saving system, feel free. There's a mod that removes that saving system and gives you a more Skyrim like. There's a mod to allow a crosshair with the bow and arrow. I mean, not that it's going to help you much. Holy fuck. But there is a crosshair to allow the bow and arrow if you wish. There's also a nude mod, if you're into that thing.
Because every game has mods has a nude mod.
Pretty much.
If it doesn't, then there's generally something weird going on.
Yeah. I have not got to the courtship scene yet, but from what I've heard, it's pretty graphic, like to the point where people aren't posting it on YouTube. But I don't know.
Wait a minute. So you can post dead bodies on YouTube, but you can't post a sex scene in it?
Only if you're Logan Paul.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
But
privilege and whatnot.
Yeah. So I have no clue about the courtship scene yet. Maybe next week I'll get there and I'll rehearse it back to you guys. We'll see. I'm sure it's not going to be X-rated, though. I'm just sure it's going to be a little raunchy, but not X-rated.
No, I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda had a far more graphic sex scene than all three of the other Mass Effects, but it still wasn't like, holy crap, this deserves to be on a far different website than this. No, it was just okay. So they kind of panned the camera out. Okay, yeah, whatever.
It'll be interesting. But that's what I've been doing.
It's probably the same people who are like, "You hate women and black people. Like they're showing too much titties." It's like, I'm sorry that your history teacher failed you.
No,
but women and people of color were oppressed back then, and also sex happens.
And don't forget to go to the whorehouse and pay for the whores at least once a week, because you get a buff called Alpha Male, which gives you a bunch of buffs. So get laid as often as you can, so that way you get the buff. Just saying.
Oh my god. That's wow. Wow.
I love
this is definitely not the way I envisioned this episode going.
So what have you been playing?
Basically not shit. I haven't played hardly anything for over a week. But I did get to play a little bit of Subnautica. I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. And I played it for about 6 hours. Almost straight. Like, I was almost late for work one day because I woke up early just to play some. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this game because I played it so hard and was so into it, and then it ultimately let me down. And it's not that anything in the game actually happened. It was actually a game-breaking bug. So I had talked to you about it because you have played quite a bit of it, and you've done a bunch of videos on it.
This bug.
Yes. So this is not going to be, everybody experiences this, and I don't even know what happened. I honestly don't. But basically what happened was I, started on my life pod, did some stuff, whatever, and then it's like, oh, hey, in like 2 days or 3 days or whatever, your ship, the Aurora, is going to blow up. The core is going to explode and detonate, which is basically a nuke. It's a small nuke, but it's basically a nuke. And so I'm like, oh, well, I need to get there before it explodes then, right? Because this game does not hold your hand. Like, it'll tell you what you should be doing, but you get to choose what order everything happens. Or if you just neglect everything and go do other things. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to try to swim over there. Well, I started dying from radiation poisoning, and it's like, well, we crafted we uploaded a blueprint for a radiation suit. So I'm like, okay, I need to go make that. So I go over, I make that, and ship explodes, whatever. Because there's no way into the ship before it explodes, by the way. Spoiler warning. So if you don't want to spend, 30 minutes swimming around the fucking ship trying to find a way in, there is no way in. You have to wait for it to blow up. So I eventually, I do some stuff while I'm waiting for the ship to blow up. I do some crafting. I do some normal, just everyday shit that your videos showed in the first couple of videos. Craft, get this stuff, look for blueprints, look for this, scan stuff, cut up stuff, blah, blah. So then I go to the Aurora, and I'm like, well, I guess it's going to go ahead and go explore that. So I go in, I find a hole in the wall in the side, and I swim in, and I go in, and I'm fighting the little fucking spider shits and dying almost to those. So I go up and I do the quest thing, which is basically you needed to go in and find like a black box or whatever. I go and I do that. I do a couple other things.
Yeah, there's
and
three things you need to do in there. Go to the engine room, repair the nuclear power plants.
Yep.
Go to the control room, get the black box, and go to the captain's quarters and get the plans for the rocket to get the hell off the planet.
Yes. And so when I went back in to explore more of the ship, I basically, once you get the black box, which I think is the first thing, when you come back out, a door that was blocked is now not blocked because something like rattled the ship or something, and it knocked this stuff loose. So I went in there, and as I walked through a couple of corridors, I came to another door. I opened the door, and the walkway was black, like it had no texture. Like it was just smooth black. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And it was just water. It was basically like a crater inside the ship, and it was just water. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Like maybe when it exploded, like, blew the whole midsection out or whatever. So I jump into the water, and when I go to dive, I see the rooms. Like there's no walls. So they're just like cubes, clear cubes, with the shit inside the rooms, but they're invisible walls. I swim up to it to try and go into the room, and it's blocked. Like there's an invisible wall. So then I go up, and it clips and starts showing the wall, and then it unclips and shows it's clear. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I start swimming around. I get stuck because I'm getting trapped inside these walls.
Now, did you save at any point while inside the Aurora?
Somewhere.
Oh,
probably.
Hoping you did.
Yeah. Now, like, I have to restart the whole fucking game over.
Yeah. Now, one tip that I would give to anybody is don't go to the Aurora until after the Sunbeam event.
Yeah. And see, that's the other thing is that when I talked to you about it, there is a Leviathan around the ship, and there was nothing around the ship.
Yeah, it actually chased me away from the ship as I was leaving.
Yep. So
in the video that I'm posting tonight.
Yep. So that wasn't there. So I actually had to enable the console and use a console command to basically throw me through the wall to get to the prawn suit.
The prawn bay?
The prawn bay. And because I was there and I needed to go in there, but I couldn't. There was no door. Like, it was just all invisible walls. So I had to basically throw myself through the wall. When I did that, I was able to explore the whole prawn bay. Everything was fine in there. When I came back out, I couldn't open the door to get out. So I had to throw myself through the actual the bay door. And when I did that, it glitched out the whole fucking ship again. So I was like, I literally used the console command to teleport me back to my life pod, close the game down. I haven't started it up since. So eventually I'll restart from scratch and do everything in a more proper order. Yeah, and now that I know if the Leviathan's not there, that it's going to glitch, that helps.
And you weren't too far into it. A couple days in game time?
Yeah, I was 6 hours in.
Okay.
So in enough to where I haven't picked it up again.
Yeah, but
I will.
I would definitely wait to go to the Aurora until you you need the repulse cannon, and then B, I would wait till after the Sunbeam event.
Yep. But And of course you can do things out of order. Like
You
this game
can.
doesn't hold your hand or do anything like that.
Well,
But
the
if
repost
you are stuck
cannon,
around,
the repost cannon will allow you to go in the main door versus having to go all the way around through the
yeah,
scaffolding to go in through that side door.
I gotcha. Um, but yeah, if you are whoever is swimming around and you don't see her after it explodes, you're probably gonna need to restart your game. Like, definitely go in and see if it glitches, but make sure you save before you go in.
Yeah, and sometimes the Leviathan's at the back of the ship, sometimes he's
Yep.
at the front of the ship. You don't
But
really know.
find him first.
Yeah,
Make sure that he's swimming out there.
save
Uh,
before you go near it.
yes. But otherwise, it's a fun game. Like, I enjoyed the time I spent on it. I like that it doesn't hold your hand. You get to do whatever the hell you want in whatever you want.
Hmm.
The graphics are fucking beautiful. My computer is not like up to par right now, but it runs this game very smoothly. It is very well optimized, especially for just coming out of early access. And I say it's very well optimized, besides the game breaking bug and glitch that
I
I found.
actually
But
had a glitch myself,
did you?
a different one.
Okay.
When you go to the floating island, you're supposed to get coordinates to the next Dagazi habitat place. I never
Okay.
got coordinates, never showed up. But luckily, I know the map well enough. I can go there without the coordinates.
Gotcha. And I would say with something like that, you can just
Look it up.
Google it.
Yeah.
Yep, just Google it. If that does suck, especially for new players. But having the whole damn ship glitch out is a nightmare.
Yeah, you kind of need that ship.
Yeah, because I could not explore any of the other rooms. None of them. Because I couldn't get into any of them. So if I tried to, I would have to basically do the console command to throw me into the room. And there's like 40 rooms.
Yeah.
And some of them you can't even get to because they're on second, third stories.
Yeah,
And
you
you're
don't want
in
to
the
use
water.
the console command.
Yeah, you don't. You want to be able to play the damn game. So
Right.
anyway, besides that, it's a very fun game. I really, really enjoyed the time before that happened. But the graphics are great. The freedom that you have is great. And you do really get to go at your own pace. You get to do things on your time. And I really like that.
I really suggest that people go check out my Building Basics 101 video.
Yep.
I really go through just all the options, how to make a starter base.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something that everybody should go check if you're interested in the game.
Yep. And we'll have links to our YouTube channel and all that stuff in the description.
Yep.
So go check that out. But yeah, I'll end up picking it up again. I don't think I've had that sour of a taste in my mouth in a while. Of just like, I put in a whole bunch of work and I did a bunch of really cool things and found some cool stuff, and now I have to start it all over again.
Yeah.
And
you'll
I
find
hate
that
that
it's
feeling.
a lot easier the second time around.
Yeah, especially since I do know where some stuff is now from playing it. And so it will be a lot easier and a lot quicker to get back to where I was.
And watch those videos.
I will. And everybody listening, go watch those videos.
Yeah, they're super helpful.
Definitely. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't, but I heard you did something very interesting.
Yes. So there is a YouTube channel and a podcast that I listen to. The podcast is called The Command Zone, and they play Commander for Magic.
Yeah.
And their podcast is amazing. It's super informative. Deck tech stuff. They do set reviews, but it's Jimmy Wong and Josh Lee Kwai who do it. And you guys may have recognized Jimmy Wong. He was on. He's been on a couple of other shows on YouTube, and I think they had a Netflix show as well. But he was also a guest on Tabletop. I think it was the. Oh damn! What was it? It was the Wits and Wagers Family Edition.
Nice.
Yep, it was a great episode. I love that episode. But so they also do a YouTube show called Game Nights, where they get some people together and they play 4-person Commander and they record it. And it's super high quality videos. They spend so much time in the post-production department of like putting graphics up and showing the card images and all sorts of special effects. Like they put so much time into it. But they are actually doing a contest where they are accepting audition videos from the fans to try and be a guest on game nights to play Commander with them on camera. So I submitted a audition video. It is on our YouTube page. That way I could actually link them to it. So here's hoping. It took more takes than I would like to say. I think it was somewhere in the 30s. Like it took me 2 days to make a 2-minute and 40-second video.
Wow.
Because, and I'm usually really good for stuff like this. Like anytime that I'm doing videos, gameplay videos, or recording the podcast, it feels very natural. But when I have the camera sitting in front of my face and I can see myself in it, I see what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
And so now, obviously, it is. If I don't have to see myself, it's easier.
It's why I do Twitch without the camera.
Yes. But so with, obviously if I do get chosen, it'll be a little bit easier to be on camera there because I won't be able to see myself in the camera. There won't be a screen showing me what I'm doing wrong. But that I know of. They'll have it on like a big old fucking iPad right in my face. They're like, do you see this? Do you see how your eye's twitching right now? You shouldn't do that. No, they are an awesome couple of guys, and if you guys have any interest in Magic, Commander, stuff like that, definitely check them out. And if you want to also audition, I think it ends the 28th at noon. So get out there, do your video. I've on my audition video, it does have a link to the audition rules and all that stuff, so check that out and do it.
Sounds cool.
I would rather them have too many auditions than not enough.
Yeah, I'm good.
But I would also like to go. I would like to go play with them.
Yeah, no one wants to see my ugly ass, so I'm good. Another reason why I don't have the camera on.
I suppose we all are our own worst critics.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely my worst critic.
Yep. But that's about it.
Okay.
So
I'm going to close it out then. You have any other closing thoughts?
That's me.
No? Awesome. And as always, thank you all for listening. And you can check out our previous episodes at mediocregamers.com, as well as on iTunes and Google Play. Keep up to date with us on Facebook and Twitter at 2mediocregamers, and chat with us on Discord. Links will be posted in the description below. Now get out there and play some games.